Today's review is going to be Soyuz by Gazpacho. Stranded. Now, Soyuz is Gazpacho's 10th studio album, and it was released a mere couple of weeks ago. It is also the first album to feature original drummer by the name of Robert Johansson, who came back into this group probably a good year before the album was recorded, while former drummer Lars Erik Asp had to leave the group due to family and life constraints, which unfortunately seems to happen with groups such as Gazpacho, who really rely on their day jobs to support themselves, that they are not really making it big with releases and stuff, so you have to make an income somewhere, right? Which is sad, because I think that's the ultimate dream for anybody who's in that position, one who's an artist, whether it's a painter or a musician, even an aspiring actor. Anyways, I can't describe the sound or vision that Gazpacho does other than calling it probably crossover prog. It is impossible with each release to pin down exactly what you would call them, because their music is so complex. Gazpacho is also notorious for their fascination with stories and concept albums. I think every album after Brave, so that would be TikTok, no, it'd be Night and On, sorry, are all concept or story albums. And that's a trend that they definitely continue with on Soyuz. And if I had to give you the general theme of the album, it is about the passing of moments that can't be saved or frozen to be savored once again at a later time. It's a very strong concept about, images and feelings of, even in your own lives, relating to something that you experienced, whether it be your wedding day, for example, the birth of a child that, is ingrained up here, but you can never go back and experience that again. It's not all doomy and gloomy, but of course, Gazpacho is always a little bit on the gloomier, doomier side, but that's what makes him appealing also. So let's break into the tracks. The album starts off with the first single, which was called Soyuz 1. Now, Soyuz was the name of a doomed Russian space capsule that was captained by a Russian named Komarov. And this track, it develops in your typical Gazpacho way, very slowly, with some great sound effects. There's some drum samples as well. And the vocals from Jan Henrik Ohm has a very seductive way of singing, both very beautiful and haunting at the same time. That's something he's known for. That's an element to Gazpacho that I really enjoy, and I think that's probably what draws me to them the most. It's almost like he uses his voice as an instrument. Now, the second track, Hypomania, is a whole different bag. It's got also a gentle intro, but after the band throw that away, and they throw a bit of a curveball at us, because this song goes into a territory that I've really never heard Gazpacho do. It's a song about someone who realizes that he is in love with his own projection of someone and not the real person. He has a crisis and ends up leaving. Now, if that doesn't sum up, to me, the way relationships seem to work in this day and age, everybody is so, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they're so self-centered on themselves that they maybe forget about, your partner and stuff. I think you know what I'm getting at. Don't want to ramble on or anything. Also, this is just recently got a video put out. Check it out. I'll leave a link for that down below. This track is also nice to see them step in a different way. Do something a little different, maybe something out of their their comfort zone. You know, after 10 albums, it's nice that they seem to still want to mix it up and still can. They're not obviously stuck in that rut. The third track, Exit Suite. Now this was the second single and the second video that we actually got from the guys. And it's a real nice breakup after the heavier Hypomania. And this is Gazpacho to me doing Radiohead. It really stands out. It's they've got a real gift in creating a musical texture or layer. They use their, how would you say it? Their instruments as weapons. They often give each instrument the limelight within a song, and I go back to thinking that Soyuz 1 is a really good example of that. Nice outro at the end on the violin. Then we get into the fourth track, and this is where the diversity of Gazpacho and the album really start to show. The song is called Emperor Bespoke, and this song has got some really neat mandolin picking. It's very subtle, and there's some really nice acoustic guitar playing it as well, which you don't really hear too much. Can't even recall actually hearing any picked acoustic guitars, but I could be wrong. And you really get a kind of a folky feel to it. I'm not entirely sure what the song is about, but it's one that will stick in your head, and it will burn itself in there, and you will be listening, and you'll be humming along with it, singing along with it before long, and it'll be with you. The other day, even at work, it was in my head, and I couldn't get rid of it. It's one of those songs. All right, we flip over the record, as we would, and the first song on side 2 is a song called Sky Burial. For those who aren't sure what a sky burial is, it deals with the tragedy of the scene it depicts, apparently of that of a Tibetan Buddhist funeral practice that isn't immediately apparent from the lyrics. You have to do a little research online just to find out the different meanings of a sky burial. It's a good song. It's another, I don't want to say standout track because there's 2 notes that are being played over and over in the song, and it gets a little repetitive. Other than that, it's a great song. Now, if one song would represent the album as a whole, it would be the next track called Fleeting Things. You know, many of the lyrics hint at the final moments of life on this song, and I'll just give you a few examples. As empires fall, aiming to keep what's the essence of all, bullied and broken, bloody and bruised, living in moments, stolen moments. You know, this finds the band as close to a true ballad as they've ever come, and the hook here in this song is undeniably incredible. It's one of those ones you'll hear a few times and it will be ingrained in your brain, and which isn't a bad thing, I guess. If Soyuz 1 was restrained in nature, then Soyuz Out returns to the same scene, but frames it in a different perspective. You still navigate between electric beats and live drums, but you've got a lot more broader brushstroke in the musical texture or phrasing, whatever you want to call it. This track really just takes my breath away and shows how good that Gazpacho really are at constructing long songs while keeping them interesting and giving a record a real sense of drama. They do that extremely well. I think back to Death Room from Demon's a good example. That's probably the best example that comes to the top of my head right now. Now, for those of you who have the CD version, the CD ends with the track called Rappaccini. It is not on the vinyl edition. It's a decent enough track, but to me it is the weakest on the album. I can see why, obviously due to time constraints, that they didn't make the vinyl, and I'm not sure it should have even been on the CD as well. There's something about it, it just doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the album. And if I had one little negative to say about it, that they've included it in the CD, I think they should have placed it in the running order right before Soyuz Out, because I think the album ending on Soyuz out being a very dramatic and emotional song, I think would have made the flow of this album much better. And final thoughts, Gazpacho always continues to amaze me with every release. This album is no exception, and it sneaks up on you, and before you know it, you're listening to it daily, over and over. I've had it for probably 2 weeks now, and I've probably listened to it 12 to 15 times between going to work or working out in the yard, whatever. But it's one of those albums that I'm glad I'm listening to it. I really enjoy it. Some albums you listen to are, they're all right and stuff, but this one really hits a chord with me, and I hope it does to you too. There's so much to offer musically and lyrically to promote, thought-provoking and interesting topics. To me, Soyuz is another winner from Gazpacho, a definite winner. And if you don't have it, I think you should go out and get it. I know it definitely will be on my top 10 albums of the year. It might even be number 1, I don't know. But right now it definitely would be, and to me it's an essential masterpiece of progressive music, and I'm going to give it an A- rating. Alright, now before we go, guys, I'm just going to show you the album itself and all the artwork and what it looks like, because I think it's worth your time to see. That, of course, is the front cover of the album. That's a real awesome cover. I don't know what it is about it. It suits the music and it feels so well. And there's the back of the album, of course, and there's the track list there. Alright, and this was the inner sleeve. The vinyl came in. And this is the lyric sheet, I guess. I'll just show you the front and back real quick, and then I'll open it up. So the lyrics and the credits. Cool stuff. Cool artwork. And of course, I'll grab the record, the vinyl here. There being side 1. And of course, there being side 2. Alright, if you're a fan of these guys, go pick the album up. Listen to it, review it, rate it. Start a conversation, guys. That's what this is all about. Until next time, take care of each other, and we'll see you soon. Bye.